world's current economic state is stressing you the F out, well, I'm here to tell you that, my friend, it's about to get 100 times worse. And maybe that's not the message that you wanted to hear today, but it's the message that I'm going to tell you today. And this video is going to be all about how do you handle the economic shitstorm that is about to explode in our world today. And I'm giving this advice out today because honestly, I feel like I also need it. And so this is going to be a very raw, real episode, but I want to give you some really amazing, tangible tools and tips because when we are about to experience this economic shitstorm that's about to come out, which is basically like we're on the brink of probably a recession, is that you need to hone down on your mental strength more than freaking anything, truly. Because the people that are able to succeed through this time and thrive through it are the people who have the biggest mental strength and resilience. And I want you to be one of those people. I want you to be the person who looks at this time, doesn't let it get them down, and instead looks at how can I move through this time in a really strong and powerful way. And most importantly, really embody the mindset of how can I make this work? That's it. Instead of, I need to quit, I need to yell and scream and shout and cry and all of these things. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, please. I have been doing my fair share of crying and stressing out and venting and complaining. But at the same time, my mindset continuously goes back to how can I work through this in a really, really powerful way? And how can I make sure that this time that feels really hard right now makes me instead of breaks me? And that's the mindset that I want you to embrace, okay? The mindset of how can I get through this? If you are financially stressed the F out right now, what are some additional sources of revenue that you can create? Where can you pull back on when it comes to spending on stuff? Because I know that you are spending your money on dumb shit right now. I know that you are, okay? Or maybe you're not even budgeting at all and thinking about, you're just slamming your card down wherever you go instead of thinking about it. And honestly, I've been there, done that. I have made some massive radical shifts in my life when it comes to finances. And you know what's so interesting? It's like so much of our financial stress would also just go away if we just literally spent money and lived well below our means. And when I started to just do that, I'm like, oh, I'm not really financially stressed anymore because I'm living well below my means. So sometimes it can be as simple as that. Anyways, I digress. So what is really important when it comes to supporting yourself during this time, and how do you make sure that more than anything, you are mentally strong AF? So let's go through what some of those strategies are. Number one, your emotional regulation skills, they gotta be on point. Got to be on point. What is emotional regulation? It is being able to notice your emotions coming up and being able to move through them in a healthy way. It's not numbing, it's not distracting, it's not avoiding, it's moving through them in a healthy way. So if you are not comfortable with your emotions, you better damn well get comfortable with them now. Because if you are not able to be comfortable with your emotions, this period, this economic shitstorm is about to just kick you in the butt. Okay? And we don't want that for you. We don't want you to get kicked in the butt. I want you to stand up, be strong, and just move through this time in a really powerful way. So part of that means to regulate your emotions better. Honestly, something that I am doing for myself right now is I am cutting out a lot of things from my life that I have used before to numb my emotions. So right now in this period of my life, in this era, I've already significantly cut down on alcohol. And alcohol wasn't ever something I actually even turned to in order to cope with emotions. But every once in a while, if I was stressed out, I'd be like, oh my God, I need a glass of wine. And that's just not an option anymore. I don't give myself an option to have that glass of wine anymore. If I do drink, throughout the summer, I'm looking at maybe one or two events that I might have a drink at here or there. But other than that, my goal is no drinking and alcohol at all, because I know that whenever I drink, my capacity to handle stress, my capacity to handle difficult emotions significantly decreases. And right now, I want to be on my A game. As a business owner, I want to be on my A freaking game. And for me, that means to eliminate things that don't support me at my A game. And part of that's alcohol and drinking, okay? Now, the other piece too, I'm also, significantly reducing is watching Netflix. Again, I haven't really watched a lot of Netflix, but I did love me like sitting down watching a show in the evening. But what I found is that I would just be like numbed out, and instead, what I'm going to do is replacing that 1 hour of showtime with reading a book. And I find that whenever I read a book, I just feel so much more empowered. I feel so much more positive, and instead of just numbing and distracting myself out at the end of the night, I want to feel empowered. I want to feel like I got this and I can move through this time in a really powerful way. So Netflix, you out. And the third thing I'm significantly honestly just eliminating at this point is any sort of like junk food. Didn't really turn to junk food that much, but honestly, before my cycle would start, when I would get cravings throughout the day, and for me, that's no longer an option. If I have a craving for something sweet, I'm grabbing an apple or I'm eating an orange. If I have a craving for something like like crunchy, like chips were always just like my go-to. I actually haven't had chips in a really long time. Like I'm pretty proud for that. Used to have such a bad problem with chips and like really bad. Like I remember when I was in med school, I would during exam time. I would literally down an entire bag of like chips. And we're talking those like big bags of kettle chips. And I used to have a couple of them a week. Like now I look back at that and I'm like, ew, I can't believe I did that. But did not know any better way to manage stress. So if I want something crunchy, now I'm going to make some like home cooked popcorn instead, right? And so I am really using this time to make sure that I'm taking on and eliminating anything that is going to bring me down and not allow me to be resilient. So I want you to do that reflection in your life and really think about, if I want to be mentally sharp and resilient during this economic shitstorm, I love calling it that. Can we not call it a recession anymore and call it an economic shitstorm? Because it's just so much more fun. So if I want to be mentally resilient during this time, what do I need to eliminate from my life that is going to take away from my mental resilience? And I'm sure you will find a couple of things in there. And I promise you, if you take these things out, you are going to move through this time in such a powerful way. Okay? Now, alongside that, when you take these things out, you need to be able to replace them with something and replace them with healthy coping strategies instead. So for example, if I'm not going to have a glass of wine at night. Instead, I'm going to take a hot bath, because to me, they help me do the same thing, which is to relax my body and make me feel good. So if I want to relax, I'm going to go take a bath instead of turning towards that glass of alcohol. Instead of watching Netflix, I'm replacing that with reading a book. And I love that it's summer now, because I can just go to my local downtown Toronto park, grab my little Kindle, and just sit on a bench and read while the sun is setting. So replacing that habit with that. Junk food, if I'm craving something sweet, fruit. If I'm craving something crunchy, I can, make myself like a cup of home cooked popcorn instead. So you want to make sure that when you're taking these things out that are going to reduce your mental resilience, you are adding in things that are going to increase your mental resilience and help you feel good instead. This way you won't feel the impact and effect of letting go of that habit as much. Okay? So this is going to be super important. Take out the things of your life that decrease your mental resilience. Also, please, I want you to get serious about the people that you're surrounding yourself with as well, okay? During a time like this, I am so mindful of the conversations that I have with my friends, and there's only like one or two people that I really try to complain to things about, because I know that they're going to lift me up and help me feel good, and it's going to be more of like a really powerful venting session, yes, those exist, because these friends are going to force me to dig deeper and make me look at why these things are painful for me and make me feel that sort of way, instead of just being venting and complaining and just moving forward. So really be mindful of the people that you talk to during this time. I always say during these times, like, you want to really drown yourself in as much positivity as possible. And so this might look like you setting some boundaries with the people around you and being like, these types of conversations I can't have. Like, I literally cannot have conversations about the stress of money and complaining about things and, oh my God, AI is going to take over and da-da-da-da. Important to be aware. Yes, have these conversations with your friends, but make sure they're positive and uplifting, and set boundaries around conversations that aren't. And honestly, people that don't respect that, or people that are really negative, stay away from them. You don't have to change anybody, right? We can let people be people, but you don't need to be around them. And there's definitely some people in my life who I've just noticed over and over again, they're just so extremely negative. And I just try to stay away from them now, because I just can't have that negativity and energy in my life. It is honestly just so draining and exhausting. Once you've done that, this is really that part that you've mastered of emotional regulation, right? Learning how to regulate those emotions, learning how to navigate stress in a more powerful way. So once you've removed those things that are not healthy for you and added in things that are healthy for you, you now have a healthy coping tool and strategy box that you can turn to when you feel stressed out, instead of turning to things that are going to cause you to numb, avoid, or distract yourself from your emotions. And honestly, the other strategy I want to add in here that I freaking just love is journaling. Oh my God, whenever I feel stressed out and I just like take a moment to just dump everything out on a piece of paper, I literally feel like 100 billion times better. So please journal your freaking heart away and soul away, okay? And thank me later for that. And if you're wondering like how I journal, I literally just take a moment to just write everything down, everything that I'm feeling. So I'll start off by dumping, like mind dumping. And then as I'm journaling, I will look at everything that I feel stressed about and find a way to see the positive in it, or, be grateful for something, or just like empower myself and be like, no matter what happens, we can get through this. So it starts off with that mind dumping and venting, and then turning it into something really powerful and ending on that really powerful note. That's just the way I journal. I've been journaling for years and I just find it to be so, so helpful. Okay, next thing that's going to be really helpful during this time is to practice being present. So important. It's something that I've actively been practicing in my life. And last week I went to a concert with one of my cousins. We went to Zed's Dead. I don't know if any of you know that band. It's like a very hardcore EDM band. And honestly, I had never listened to them live, and I don't really listen to their music that much, but something I wanted to do this year was just start to go to more concerts. And they were coming to a place called History in Toronto. If any of you have been to it, it's a beautiful venue. It was my first time there, and I was like, wow, this venue is amazing. But when we got there, I was like, damn, this music is like very hardcore, like dubstep, EDM, just like very deep house type music. And I don't listen to this music at all, but me and my cousin were just like, whatever, we're gonna just make the best out of it and have like a great time. And we did that very successfully. But it was so interesting just being there, because usually whenever I go out somewhere, I constantly find myself like being distracted or not being present, or making myself feel bad like I should be like working. Or already what I would start to do in my mind is when I'm at these places or out is thinking about how awful the next day is going to be and how much I've ruined my time for the next 3 days to come and whatever. And for the first time ever, I just like actually let myself be present. And I know this sounds insane. Like, I am almost 29, and to be like, for the first time ever at a concert, I let myself be present. Yeah. And I was just like fully there and fully immersed. And it was like, that was like a high on its own, to just like be fully freaking present in the moment. Like right now, I feel fully present, and I can feel I feel like I have like a little high just being fully present. But I just that feeling of just like everything is okay. And that's what being fully present is. Because when you really think about it, and even I think about it right now, right? Yeah, there's so many stresses in my life and whatnot, but it's just like right now, here in this moment, all that matters is you and I. That's it. You and I in this moment. I'm sitting in my office. Everything in this moment is fine. It's when our mind goes to the future, when our mind starts to think of the past, that we start to freak out, and all of a sudden everything doesn't seem okay, because now we're, 2 years in the future thinking about how AI is going to take over and then we're all just going to be jobless. My mind goes there all the time. Okay. You are not the only one. So really look at how can you help yourself be more present. To be honest, that my favorite thing to do is just taking deep breaths. So all throughout the day, I take deep breaths. I also have, like, for example, on my Apple Watch here, you can't really see it, but the background of my Apple Watch literally says, just breathe. So every time I look at my Apple Watch and I see the time, it also says just breathe. And my whole goal is like, I'll just take like one breath as I look at that Apple Watch. And so when you can breathe, and why just breathing works amazingly is because when you take one really deep breath, it actually activates something called the parasympathetic nervous system in your body. And as soon as that nervous system is activated, you're calm. Right there in that moment, as soon as you take that breath, you just feel so, so calm. And so when you are able to take these deep breaths and just be here in the calm moment, it helps you be more present. I know another really good technique is also just the 5 senses technique. So this looks like you getting connected with your 5 senses in the moment. So if you find your mind in the future or in the past, just taking a moment to be like, okay, What do I see in front of me? What can I hear? What do I taste in my mouth? What can I like touch or like, like feel? And what's the other one? Is it sight, smell, taste, touch, hear? I think I said all of them, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. Okay. That took me way too long and I should have done that before. But 5 senses. There we go. So that is how else you can, another way you can actually like just bring yourself back into the present moment. And again, when you're present, everything is okay. Everything really is. Nothing is hanging over your head when you're in the present moment. So really just look at how you can just continuously bring yourself back when you find yourself being really stressed about the future or the past, because the more present that you can be, the better off that you will feel, because at the end of the day, all you can do is what you can do, right? Does that make sense? All you can do is what you can do. And so that's what you need to focus on, is like, are you doing as much as you can in the present? And if you are, then it's just like putting your hands together and just praying and being like, God's going to take care of the rest. Literally. That's what I have to keep reminding myself of. I'm just like, am I doing as much as I can? Okay, cool. All right, let's put our hands together and just be like, God, just take care of the rest. And just so make sure that you are showing up for yourself as much as you can. And if you're not, just ask yourself, what more can I do to improve the situation? So if finances are your stress, looking at what more can you do to improve the situation? Are you doing as much as you can? Okay, then trust that the rest will be taken care of, right? I always say, meet God halfway and he'll meet you the other halfway. But you have to make sure that you are showing up and doing the work as well. And then the last tip that I have for you that's also just going to really help you ground and move through this time in a powerful way. I recently just started doing this in my life and it's felt beautiful and amazing, is having a mantra for yourself that helps to ground you. So I literally recently came up with this. Me and my best friend, we always send each other voice notes. And last week I was just sending her these voice notes and I'm just like, I feel so stressed out all the time. And I know I'm doing as much as I can, and I know that the rest, what I need to do is just let go and have faith in God, but I'm just like, it is so hard for me to do that. And something that she actually suggested was to like come up with some sort of like grounding mantra that I can use to just pull myself back into the present moment and just to let go and have faith and trust in God. And I was like, that is such a good idea. And the other day I was in the bath and all of a sudden it just like came to me. And my mantra now is whenever I feel stressed out, and all morning I have been saying this and taking a breath. So what I'll do is I'll like take a breath, I'll repeat the mantra to myself. Then when a stressful thought comes up, I'll take a breath, I'll repeat the mantra to myself. And oh my freaking God, does it feel good to just have something that grounds you, to just have something that reminds you of your faith and to remind you that everything is going to be okay at the end of the day. And so my mantra is, I have faith, I trust in God, He's always taking care of me. And instead of God, I say Babaji. Babaji is how you say God in Punjabi. And if you didn't know this, that's what my background actually is. I'm Indian. My background is Punjabi. I speak Punjabi as well at home. And so I say Babaji, but you can, replace that with God if you like this mantra. But come up with something that helps to just really ground you. Make sure it starts with like an I, attach it to like a really powerful word. And maybe even, you can say the universe has my back, or God, if you want to say God, or just, I feel like adding in that trust and that higher power just really, really helps in these moments. And so what you can start doing is that every single time you notice that thought just coming up in your mind, that stress coming up, literally take a deep breath. That's going to activate that parasympathetic response, and then add in this powerful mantra for yourself and just repeat it. I kid you not, it works so powerfully. Like when I say I feel good, I'm just like, I feel so good. I'm just like, everything's going to be okay. I'm just going to keep like showing up and God's got my back. All right. So works really well. So these techniques and tips that I just shared with you are so freaking simple. A little extra one that I wanted to add in that I actually heard on Alex Hormozi's podcast the other day when I was listening to it, and he just talks about how he reminds himself how insignificant he is and how nothing he does is ever going to matter, for example, in like 500 years. And I think of that too sometimes. Sometimes if I go too hard on that little spiral, I like freak out. I'm like, then what's the point of me freaking doing anything? So I have to be careful with myself. So if that's you, just be mindful, because sometimes it helps, but then sometimes it makes you have this like existential crisis of just like, why am I even doing anything in my life? So Depending on how you feel about that, use it as you need. But I think that's always a great one to remember too, because really we are just insignificant little specks in the world. And I'm not saying that you don't matter. Of course you matter, but I'm just saying when you look at the bigger picture of things, it doesn't matter that much. And when you think about the mistakes and the stress and all of these things, it's just like you're gonna be okay at the end of the day. You're gonna be okay. So might as well live your life fully because it's all gonna work out anyways, as long as you make sure that you are showing up and doing as much as you can in this moment. Okay, you can't just like half-ass things and expect everything to work out for you. It doesn't work like that. You have to show up and give it your best and give it your all, and that is when you can continue to have the trust and faith that everything is going to work out for you. So I really hope that this was helpful. I also just want to take a moment right now to validate your feelings and your emotions. And I know right now is an extremely scary time. It is extremely scary. And so many of us are stressed out. But I promise you, our world has gone through extremely hard times before, and extremely hard times are going to come again, and you will be able to get through this, and you can get through this. And I think the best thing that you can really do right now is make sure that you are taken care of. Make sure that you know how to regulate your emotions and keep calm during the storm, because the calmer you can be during the storm, the more successful you will be through it, and that's how you will really thrive through it. So if you feel like you really want help and support, just for the month of May, this is something new that I haven't ever done before. I'm offering a 2-for-1 60-minute coaching call. So when you opt in and buy one 60-minute coaching call, you actually get a second one free. I'm doing this for Mental Health Month, which is the month of May. Each 60-minute coaching call is $150. And so if you actually opt in, you get a second one completely free. So that's two 60-minute coaching calls for the price of one. So if that's something you're interested in and you really want to get that help and support with your mindset, learning how to optimize your body all together in one, you can use the link in my bio below to book that call. And I hope that this was helpful. Stay strong. You're going to get through this. And most importantly, learn how to master and regulate those emotions, because that is going to be the best skill that's going to help you thrive during this time.